Top stories from around the island. To the point. Without the fluff. Puerto Rico headline news. Please subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell notification.
Hello, and welcome to Puerto Rico Headline News for June 28th, 2020. Thanks for watching, and if this is your first time here, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit that bell notification, and please share this content with anyone that could find it useful. What a week it has been here in Puerto Rico. We had the Sahara Dust Cloud that kept us covered for a few days. We're on the verge of an official drought that will result in water rationing very soon. And to top it off, earthquakes are back and a tropical system might develop sometime next week. How can we keep up with all the news that is happening in Puerto Rico? And more importantly, where can we find it in English? Before I continue though, I want to make sure and thank all my YouTube channel subscribers. I want to thank you for sticking with me. I know at the beginning of the year, I had gotten to a point where I was recording videos on a daily basis. And at one point, I was recording up to 2 videos a day, just reporting on top stories that were taking place here in Puerto Rico. I reached a point where I was being reviewed by YouTube that did cause a slowdown on the amount of videos that I was producing. And it was related to making sure that I was making videos and providing news that was fact-based. So that took a little bit of time for YouTube to check on my channel. I passed with flying colors, and I'm certainly grateful for YouTube to allow me the opportunity to be able to provide news stories that affect the residents here in Puerto Rico, especially those that do not understand the Spanish language. The majority of the news channels here in Puerto Rico are Spanish based. It's very hard to find English based news. So I'm grateful for that opportunity to be able to do that. And my plans remain the same. I will continue with the recording of videos. I'll stick with those top breaking news stories that are related to Puerto Rico. But the whole idea was to be able to provide an English based, reliable news source. And here it is, PuertoRicoHeadlineNews.com. So I've been working on creating a website, this website that you see here. And basically what it is, it's a news aggregator. So what it does, it scours the news, anything related to Puerto Rico, and it compiles these news sources and reports. And then what it does, it translates it from Spanish into English. Now, I'm releasing this now. It's still kind of like a beta version. In other words, it's still not completely done. So you will find that some of the translation that's being done from Spanish to English might still need some work, might need some editing. So I'm definitely working on that to narrow that down and make sure that the translation is absolutely correct, and then that the grammar is also makes sense. So a lot of times that can be a little bit of a problem, but I'm also working on that as well. So again, what this does, it scours all the Puerto Rico news sources, all of them being Spanish. Very few are in English, translates them, and then provides them here at PuertoRicoHeadlineNews.com in English. So I have them broken down here. So what you'll see on the front page here is basically the latest news that's been reported. And then you can just check on categories. So we have here breaking news, have local news, business news related with anything in Puerto Rico, health, of course, being very big, the weather center, travel, very important here in Puerto Rico, not only for those that plan on traveling to Puerto Rico, but even if you plan to travel outside of Puerto Rico. Of course, entertainment, sports. This isn't set up yet. It's the Puerto Rico Headline News store, and it'll be basically sponsors or products that expats will find very useful here in Puerto Rico. So going back to, let's see an example here. More importantly is the local news. It'll be specifically narrowed down to anything related to Puerto Rico. So let's give this a try and see what the latest news sources. And again, earthquakes are big. There was a few earthquakes that took place in the early hours of today or of this morning. And as of a few hours ago, there was another earthquake. So here, right away, this news source is provided, and you'll immediately have this information. So let's go ahead and click on the article, and here it is. So basically, this happened at 6:48 p.m. today, Sunday. The seismic network registered a preliminary magnitude 4.28 earthquake in the southwestern region of the island at 6:48 p.m. According to the agency, the maximum intensity was 4 in Mayagüez. The earthquake was felt in several municipalities of the country of Puerto Rico. And it mentions here the earthquake occurred at a depth of 13 kilometers. This portion will be in Spanish. There's no way to really um, translate this. And then we just scroll down. The southern part of the island has been shaking since early morning when two earthquakes of 4.8 and 4.3 were recorded at 2:42 and 2:45 in the morning, respectively. These earthquakes correspond to the seismic sequence that began on December 28th of last year and caused the 6.4 earthquake on January 7th. So here we see the translation was done pretty good. Not really a need to edit it, but I'm sure you will find as you go through the website in the next few days, coming weeks, some edits here and there that would be required. And like I said, I'm working on that to make sure that the news sources, the news reports are accurate. I do include as well, you'll notice here, the source of the story or the source link. So this way you click on here and it will take you directly to the news source that provided that story, of which it was then translated into English. So let's take a look here. And here it is. So this story was taken from elvocero.com, a local newspaper here. And obviously you can see the article. It is in Spanish, and we see the information there. And then on Puerto Rico Headline News.com, it was just translated, taken from here, translated into English, and then posted on Puerto Rico Headline News.com. So now we're here back to the home page of the website. And again, the majority of the news specific to Puerto Rico you'll find here in the local news. Uh, Also in the breaking news stories. The breaking news stories will also include a small percentage of the mainland or stories that are taking place in the U.S. and the world as well. Primarily, this website's been set up to collect news reports uh, based on news reports that affect Puerto Rico. Please go ahead and give it a visit, check it out. Another thing that I'm doing too is if you are on Facebook, I have a Facebook group. It's Puerto Rico Headline News. If you do have a Facebook account, please head on over, join the group, and here you'll see I do post some of the more important stories here. And then as people click on them, then they head over to PuertoRicoHeadlineNews.com, and hopefully they'll spend some time on that site and catch up on any of the news stories that have come out of Puerto Rico. Here at the Face group, You'll be able to comment on these stories, so you'll hear from other expats or other people that are living here in Puerto Rico that moved from the states here. And a lot of them do have questions, issues related to Puerto Rico. So it's a nice resource to have and ask questions. People participate, they comment, they share, and that also help you with um, your stay here in Puerto Rico. And as far as things and services and products that you might need here on the island. Before I wrap up, I did want to cover this story here under the Weather Center at the website. The title mentions a tropical wave could become storm on the way to the Caribbean. So need of a little help there. Edit. Tropical wave could become a storm on the way to the Caribbean. And essentially, here you see the latest information on what's going on here. Tropical wave in the middle of the Atlantic between Africa and the Caribbean shows signs of cyclonic development this morning, and some meteorological models predict that it will become a storm for a short period of time. Therefore, the National Hurricane Agency in Miami this morning gave it a 10% chance of development in 48 hours and a 20% chance in 5 days. Now, I just continue to mention here tropical wave located several hundred miles west southwest of Cape Verde is moving west northwest at a speed of 15 to 20 miles per hour. Slow development of this system is possible over the next 2 to 3 days, the CNH indicates in its tropics outlook bulletin for 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. Good news though. It mentions here once it approaches the Caribbean, cutting winds will inhibit its development, so it does not pose a threat to any of the islands at this time. It also mentions here for 2020, several experts and the NOAA forecast an active hurricane season. So I got to edit some grammar here. Private weather services company AccuWeather forecasts 14 to 20 tropical storms, of which 7 to 11 will become hurricanes, and 4 to 6 will be major, or they're predicting would be major hurricanes. So in this time, if it's your first hurricane season here in Puerto Rico, you do want to pay careful attention to these reports and warnings. Typically, here in Puerto Rico, it's just what happens. In my experience, I've been here for almost 8 years. During the hurricane season, we are supposed to prepare beforehand. As soon as we enter hurricane season, we should be buying our water, our supplies, or we should be prepared. Typically, what happens though is 2 to 3 days before we're supposed to get hit is when everybody kind of just rushes to the supermarkets, and by that point, it's really kind of too late. So certainly, we want to be mindful during this hurricane season here in Puerto Rico. Let's prepare beforehand, especially since knowing that the forecasts that are expected. And another thing you would want to keep in mind is the importance of having a generator. Even if we're out of power for 2 or 3 days, it's never that short of a period. It's usually about a week plus. You will lose what you have in the refrigerator. So a generator does come in handy if you want to not lose, depending on how you shop, $400, $500 in food items, depending on your family size. A generator will help you salvage that. So do your own research on generators, especially if you're going to plug it into the home. Uh, Make sure that you do run it by an electrician, someone that can help you install the generator. So rules and regulations are a little different here in Puerto Rico. So please do your research, especially at the point where you purchase it, whether it's at a big box store or locally. They'll give you the information that you need to have it installed and running properly. Another little tip is to make sure or look into getting a water reservoir. It is recommended if you do plan on moving here and you're going to rent, look for homes that have reservoirs already in place with their pumps, because it's really bad to be out of water 3, 4 days at a time or even longer. A water reservoir along with the generator, because you will need electricity to get that pump going, will be something that you would want to keep in mind and have as well. So once again, just keep that in mind. Do your research. Plenty of locals will be happy to help you and provide you with information that you need regarding generators and any water reservoirs that you might look into. Again, thank you for watching, being a subscriber of this channel. This is Puerto Rico Headline News.